I tell my patients that come to see me, I see a lot of people that are overweight, I say, if you want to lose weight, stop eating fruit. And I always hear the same thing. You know, and let me just think about how natural it is to eat fruit here in New Jersey this time of the year. You see any fruit growing around here? I tell my patients, go and find any piece of fruit you find growing, go pick that and eat that. Okay, so when do we and by the way, when do we usually get the fruit? It's usually in the fall, right? In this type of climate, fruit is around in the fall. Now, is there a specific reason why that may be helpful? Well, what happens after fall? Winter. What happens during the winter? Well, we used to starve. We would hibernate and starve during the winter. Now we have grocery stores. Okay, but if you go back 100,000 years ago, we didn't have these things. So fruit was available at the end of the summer, early fall, and people would gouge themselves on fruit so that they could gain weight. They didn't do it consciously maybe, but survival of the fattest. Yeah, and if you were not fat in the fall, you would die by the time spring came. So fruit is natural. It serves its purpose. It was designed to make us fat, and it does a very good job. So if you're trying to lose weight, don't eat fruit. Today's lecture is not about nutrition per se, but you want to eat things that water is very good for you. Fresh air is good, but you want to eat a certain amount of fat and protein in your diet. Very good for you. So what you want to do is you want to minimize the amount of time you work out. There's multiple reasons for minimizing that time. Number one is we just don't have that much time. Okay? And you don't want to work out too much because the volume of workout actually causes overtraining syndrome and will damage you. So one of the ways that you can minimize your workout is doing something called sprint interval training. Okay, it has much less time commitment. There's less volume of exercise. You can reduce the chance of overtraining, and you burn fat from the beginning of exercise because you're not burning glycogen. You actually burn fat. When you work out with weights, you want to do actually single sets of weights, and you want to reduce the frequency of your workouts. You don't need to do, I'm going to talk about this for a second. There's so many people who go to the gym, they go, I'm going to do 3 sets of 10. So they pick up a weight, and they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, or more likely this, right? And then at the end of 10, they put down the weight, and then they do whatever they're going to do. They talk to their friend, they flirt with the girls, they do this and that, and then they do another set of 10. Well, why did you do 10? Why didn't you do 12? Why didn't you do 15? Why didn't you just do 20? Why 3 sets? Where did that come from? Okay, so here's what I'm recommending. If you're going to lift weights, the purpose of lifting weights is actually to stress the muscle, fatigue it, right? How do you know when you're done? Your muscle will tell you that. Find a weight, okay, that you can, it'll take a little practice, but find a weight where you can do somewhere between 6 to 12 reps. Okay, and you do them slowly. Don't recruit other muscles, okay, and then you do 1. Okay, when you get somewhere around the 6th or 8th or 9th, and it's like, you're done. How do you know you're done? Your muscle just told you you are done. You're finished. And there's plenty of studies that show if you do 1 set like that, you are done. Don't do 3 sets. Or you don't even need to do 2. Just do 1 set. You've cut your workout time in a third now, just by that. Okay? I can show you the data on this. But you want to do it with good form. I have that here. So you want to do a correct posture, proper technique, full range of motion, proper isolation and recruitment of muscles, and even tension throughout the exercise. Don't like blast it up there and have it, cruise.
Is that a maintenance workout?
That's more maintenance. You're right, Joe. Yeah. Okay, now if you want, let me tell you, if you want to be a bodybuilder and compete and play in the NFL, that's probably not going to cut it. Okay, but if you've been someone who's been working out for many years and you just want to maintain what you got, you don't have to do 3 sets of 10. I've been working out like this for a few years now. I can tell you, I used to do the 3 sets of 10 thing and blah, 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 blah. I spend less than 2 hours a week now in the gym, and my results are as good as they've been. So you want to minimize things. Don't overtrain with your weights either. So how do you monitor how much training you need? It's only possible if the intensity of the workout's high enough. Okay, if you're on a treadmill, how do you know when you're actually starting to cause problems with your heart? If you're doing weights, how do you know when you've overtrained? If you're doing all these different sets of very light weights, well, you need to have a certain amount of intensity. So if you have enough intensity, your body will actually tell you when enough is enough. If you're doing the weight and you can't do anymore, you're done. Your muscle just said, stop. You don't need to do any more. If you're doing sprint interval training, okay, this is or the equivalent of sprint interval training. So when I say sprint interval training, you could be on a bicycle, okay, and just go real fast, spinning type stuff. Or you can be on an elliptical machine or other machines. But what you want to do is you want to do bursts, somewhere between 30 and 90-second bursts. As fast as you can, as hard as you can, okay? And you can't go anymore. Your body says you're done. Then you're going to rest for a few minutes. Then to do the same volume and intensity with the next round. You want to do a few rounds of this, of somewhere between the third round, the fourth round, the fifth round. It depends on what kind of shape you're on, maybe even on the second round. All of a sudden, you will not be able to do the same intensity or the same volume. You're like, all of a sudden, it's like, wow, I can't do this. Well, what should you do at that point? Stop. You're done.
So you really only need to be on that treadmill for 8 or 10 minutes?
Yes.
As opposed to being on for a half hour?
You got it. And you'll burn more fat. You'll take less time. It'll be exhilarating. You will not be burning glycogen. You'll be burning fat. Yeah, and it's better for your heart. Yes. I used to run, and I've been guilty of running, and I used to run, 5 miles and 10 miles and this and that. I do sprint interval training now. My workout is literally 10 minutes, including the rest periods, and it's exhilarating. You're running as fast, it's like, yeah! You don't have to scream. But, and then somewhere around the third or fourth round, it's like, oh my God, that's it, I'm done. I can't do this. And then you just stop. There's no person in this room that is the average person, right? The average person is 5'10" and weighs 165 pounds and blah, blah, all these things. None of us are a statistic. We're all individuals, and every workout it should be individualized. How do you know when you're done? When your body tells you that you're done. That's also one of the problems with modern medicine is it's based on statistics, not individuals. So one of the things that I do in my practice is I actually individualize the treatment for that patient's particular body chemistry to try to make them as healthy as possible, as opposed to, oh, well, you have this disease, I'm going to treat you with this particular drug. No, what I'm going to do is try to make you healthy, not necessarily treat the disease. So it's the same sort of concept. Things need to be individualized, and I don't know what your requirements are, but clearly that's not suiting you well. Otherwise, you wouldn't, So, your trainer overestimated what you could do. Now, I don't want to belittle what they're learning. I don't know where they get this information from, but it's not scientific. They're reading the same stuff over and over again, 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 15. Where are they getting these numbers from? How do they know how many reps you need? So what I'm saying is if you listen to your body, okay, with weights, all you need to do is warm up a little bit, have proper technique, proper range of motion, find the proper weight, and your muscle will tell you when it's done. When it's done, it's done. With some sort of interval type training, do a few intervals at a high intensity. As soon as you cannot do that intensity anymore, you'll feel it. It's very obvious. Weight training, appropriate weight, 6 to 12 reps, proper technique, train until failure, do 1 set per exercise. Workout, in terms of weight training, about 2 to 3 times a week is enough. Include different muscle groups in consecutive workouts. Do each body part once or twice a week. Okay? This is something you have to talk to a trainer about. If you want to talk to me about it, I'd be happy to. But you don't want to overtrain with weights. How many of you had this experience? I know I have had this. You've been lifting weights for however long, months or years. And some of your workouts are good, some are okay, some of you push yourself. Then you don't work out for like 2 weeks for whatever reason, and you get out there and your next workout is just, wow, I feel so great, it feels so fresh, so strong. Guess what? You were overtraining. That's why your workouts were not as good. So if you can go out there and not work out at all and actually feel better, what does that tell you? And when you lift weights, you're actually breaking down the muscle. You're causing what's called catabolic damage, okay? And then your body rebuilds itself. Same thing with running or any exercise. Any exercise you do actually breaks things down, and then your body rebuilds. You need to allow yourself the time to rebuild. If you don't allow that time, you will start to overtrain, and you will have symptoms of overtraining, and you'll actually cause damage to yourself. Do not damage yourself.